What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, on a macro standpoint, we have absolutely nothing. And then companies unveiling their earnings, nothing really that's going to be impactful to NIO. So it is going to be more of a technical driven week. Aside from that, though, we do have their registration numbers coming out on Tuesday. Last week it was above 10,000. That's what gave NIO a nice push higher, but the market's going to be really looking for some forward progress. So if they're able to accomplish more than 10,000 again this kind of upcoming data release, then essentially you'll see a nice push higher. And in reality, I think that's the only big catalyst for NIO this week, and all it needs is that nice gentle push. So if the numbers come in good, then you'll easily be able to see NIO back above that $8 range, new 52-week high, and then once it's able to close above that 807 range, then you'll see just higher highs. So big things might be coming. It just will all come down to the numbers. I did see some articles saying that next week was going to be that big stimulus meeting. It looks like it is officially October the 20th to the 23rd. So not really a catalyst for this upcoming week, but this is going to be a very big deal for Chinese stocks. As well, another upcoming catalyst is going to be this, and that is their upcoming earnings. Hasn't been announced yet, but it historically is third week of November. And if we actually look back at 2024, 2023, and also 2022, technically their Q3 earnings is always positive. Other ones not so much, kind of hit and miss, but technically their Q3 earnings over the last 3 years have been seen as positive in the eyes of Wall Street. So that again could be a pretty good catalyst as far as that, but again, that's pretty much a month and a bit away. One thing I did see some comments about on social media was this. So Trump is considering significant tariff relief for US auto production. And so like I said, I think a lot of people are saying that this is going to somehow benefit NIO, and as for the life of me, I cannot see exactly the angle that they are trying to spin this. So for anyone out there, I personally do not see this impacting NIO in a positive way. Let me know your viewpoint and if you tend to agree or not. NIO did actually move higher though during Power Hour. We had, for instance, Lucid and also Rivian going through that same expansion. So maybe technically NIO piggybacked from that news as well. But again, for face value, I don't see that news really impacting NIO at all. So let me know your viewpoint on that. And if so, if this is going to impact NIO, let me know why and how. So aside from all of that though, looking at shorts. So going into this upcoming week, 11.26% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 155.83 million shares overall being shorted. For the last week, almost 2 weeks, like shorts haven't really been doing anything whatsoever. So they've been kind of just waiting, and which is rather odd. So in my opinion, I think they are going to be really watching the registration numbers and whether that's going to be their kind of signal to double down or potentially continue to return. They have actually returned quite a lot, as I've always brought up. For the last several months, they've returned a significant amount. So again, that's kind of a positive. But how we stand right now, I think it's all going to come down to the data. On Friday, shorts did increase 110,000 shares on a side note. Coming from a bull standpoint, through the options, there's a consensus for it to be above $8. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub pretty much 7 to 750. Kind of level ground there. So there is a lot more upside than down based on where NIO did close. With the open interest though, so with it closing exactly at 770, had a nice rebound at the end of the day. You do have the 750 and below strike prices considered in the money. 26,000 at that 750, 16,000 at that 7, and then 6,000 at that 6. So potentially you could see a little bit of a bump up come Monday, as market makers will have to cover that. And I didn't see any transactions on the dark pool. after hours to really justify any covering. Same goes for the secondary market. In fact, secondary market was extremely quiet, and most of the transactions, the large transactions, were sells. So not necessarily the best, but going forward into this upcoming week, you see some big walls at $8. So you have 16,000 at the 8, but nothing really crazy. The following week, so October 17th, so the week ending that's a monthly chain, so it is a little bit more active. So again, something just to keep in mind. With it right now at 770, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot, so 783. You'll really want to watch for it to get above that early on in the week, and then if so, then you'll see that $8 range just a hop, skip, and a jump away. And so again, 802 is that 52-week high right now. I do feel this week we will be hitting another new high, and just the main question is how high, and it's all going to come down to the numbers. That's the third time I'm saying that because it is a very big deal. 835 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. I'm looking at the 1-day chart, so these are very strong support and resistance points. So if you're wanting to average down, dollar cost average, or whatever else, just kind of watch for a lot of that. If you're looking for more short-term type of stuff, this is the 4-hour, so you have 807. So that'll be pretty much the next strong target, and then 772. So again, if you're depending on if you're swing trading, day trading, or whatever else, just kind of take note of that. Aside from all that fun stuff on the actual chart itself, things are looking pretty good. Even though it did consolidate, bounced off of that $8 range, it's still above that 10-day moving average, so signaling that there is a lot of good momentum. Looking at the market position, comparing Friday and Thursday, you see a little bit more willing sellers, but nothing really crazy, and it looks like it's kind of artificial a little bit. So 779, it could easily get above that, just a nice gentle push for that. And then you have that little bit of a gap that could run to about 790, and then you have that wall right there. If it's able to successfully, like I said, get above 8, then you'll see things really fly. And this is the general area that NIO has always really struggled with. So again, if we do and are able to really burst through it, whether it be an unknown catalyst or whatever else, then you could see a very similar scenario to 2023. Keep in mind, over the weekend, it's been relatively quiet. We have heard absolutely nothing, no speculative topics. So I don't know if maybe people are waiting and sitting on information, waiting for Monday to come out, and then that could be that kryptonite to really push it higher. So I don't know. Let me know your general thoughts, but there hasn't been any articles whatsoever of value to really bring up. Aside from all that though, I do feel like higher highs will be coming. You did see from the flow a little bit more larger transactions from kind of lower end institutions, and those are some of the medium transactions, but still, algos were pretty dominant in NIO's case, and that's probably why you did see NIO really move higher near the power hour, and that's just because of, like I said, just it piggybacking off of that Trump announcement. Whether it actually does benefit NIO or not, I'm not really sure. I personally don't think so, but maybe the market had other ideas. So let me know your thoughts on NIO and where you see things going. So ultimately, I do feel we will be above $8, probably not above that point over here. So most likely we will be right below this or oriented around that R2. Regardless, it will be a new 52-week high for NIO this week. So let me know your general thoughts. Do you think that the registration numbers are going to be horrific, cause a pullback to, let's say, that $7 range, which is technically the next big support level? So $7, just keep that in mind. Or do you think that we're going to be seeing higher highs? What's your general thoughts on NIO? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to kind of pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.